Joining me now live via Skype from Kaduna State to discuss this development and much more, I have the Chief Executive Officer of Finance with Mukhtar Mohammed. Good to have you on the breakfast show this morning.
Good morning, David. It's a pleasure being here today.
Now, one of the biggest tasks that the federal government has on its hands, as well as the Economic Advisory Committee so far, is managing inflationary pressures. We've also seen this form the bane of conversation, looking at the Monetary Policy Committee meetings as well. Whether to tighten or loosen rates, that was one of the issues that they had to tackle with. We have this figure now, 16.47% once again. Do you think at this point in time we'll continue to see a further spike, because it's quite a downward spiral we are seeing here?
Yes, David, we'll continue to see that until rates are increased. If rates are increased, then you try to use that to then consumer consumption decline. Then we'll begin to see those inflation figures come down. But the good thing is that the federal government, through the debt management office, is securing about 11 trillion in that would through bond that will reduce liquidity in the system, and that will also bring down inflation. But for now, where the major cause of inflation, if you look at those numbers, are not in all these others. What I've just said, that's a normal thing in inflation. When you have inflation, you raise rates, consumer consumption comes down, then you see debt also, you draw liquidity maybe through the OMO auction or through the treasury space. But in this attempt, I have to deal with the food consumption, food index. So you see that was spiking, and the shocking thing of all this is that even in the rural area, we are seeing those figures going up, which is normally not like that compared to the urban area. So those are the challenges, and unfortunately, this challenge has nothing to do with the monetary policy issue. It has everything to do with the fiscal side and how they can help in bringing down inflation, especially in the rural area, especially in the cost of production. Like if you look at that number, also you look at the figures were high also in the area, like what you say, cereal, bread, and other consumables that are things that everyday Nigerians use. And also when you look at the other ones, again, you look at the transport sector, you realize the transport sector also was for both in the airline or by road. So all these are what combined to what we are seeing in the numbers in terms of inflation.
And still tackling some of the indices or factors that continue to fuel food price index that we've seen the increase so far. One of the biggest issues is insecurity. At this point in time, what new measures do you expect the federal government, state governments, local councils, what sort of new measures do you expect them to adopt so that we can have our different food baskets produce and then safely transport, and we don't have at the back of our minds all of the security challenges, people being maimed, raped, killed, and a whole lot more? It's time to take seriously security.
Yes, David, but security challenges didn't just come overnight, and they will not be solved overnight. So they have to come up with a strategy, and good as it may be, we have new service chief, and we believe that any moment from now, we'll begin to see the result, or they begin to give us their strategy on how to handle this. So for now, I think it's not rocket science to deal with the security challenges, and also it's not an overnight success that we will see. We need to be patient. They need to come up with strategy, and some of this strategy will not be known to us until we start seeing the results. So if you look at that with what the security chiefs have said, then you could be optimistic that very soon we could see light at the end of the tunnel as regards security. But when you look at what is on ground and you look at the report that you are getting every day, with the banditry, with the kidnapping, with the terrorists attacking soft targets, then you are worried. But you still have to be optimistic, because the service chief have just come in, they are new service chief, and they said they know what to do, and they are working towards making sure that we have an end, especially in the area of terrorism and banditry, which have not helped the farmers, especially in the northeast, the northwest, and the north central, which happen to be like the food basket of Nigeria. And you not forget the Henderman crisis also, the farmer Hender crisis also. That also is also a problem that the government needs to address and bring everybody to the table so that we can have peace for once, and then we can begin to see these prices come down. But as much as we still have these challenges, especially in the area of security, I don't expect any change anytime soon.
As we're wrapping up conversations at this point in time, the country is in recession. The Minister of State for the Minister of Budget, Finance and National Planning is optimistic that by the end of the first quarter of this year, we're going to be out of recession. This is already the mid period of the first quarter. By next month, we'll be talking about whether or not the country would get out of the recession. But do you see the inflationary figures we are having now continue to increase, or you think it will plateau at this point in time?
Maybe it will not flatter. Maybe if we're going to plaster, it's going to be towards the second quarter of the year, because we are going to see other issues will come in. We are expecting an increase in petroleum pump price any moment from now. That will also play out. We'll also see that we have opened up the economy a little bit, and we see other sectors like the air transportation sectors have opened, the rate has gone up. And so, and when there's fuel price increment, it affects every area of transportation in Nigeria, whether you are going by road or by land. And that also will involve movement of goods and services, especially farm products. So we'll see those inflation figures come. Whether Nigeria will be out of recession is just a matter of time. We will be out of recession. But like I always say, we've not done anything fantastic to be out of recession. All we do to be out of recession is once the price of food goes up, our earnings increase, we are out of recession. Unfortunately for us, the price of food has gone up to about $63 per barrel. So any moment, and that's the optimism they have. Any moment from now, I think Nigeria will be out of recession. I agree with what the minister is saying.
Okay, Dr. Mohammed. Okay, thank you very much for your contribution on the Breakfast Show today. We hope that government takes cues from all of these issues that we are raising.